my hair look okay?
Looks great, man.
All right, man. Awesome.
I like that part right here. It's a nice part. The hard part.
It's a big part, man. All right.
Look at that receding hairline. Look how far back that goes.
That's terrible, man.
A kid told me yesterday
You need to cut it.
that my hairline is like a Whataburger. And I was like, all right, jerk. All right.
You know I grade your stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making
That's
sure.
hurtful.
All right, let's get this bad rolling. Let's go. What is up, America? It is game time. It is game time. Fantasy game time. Coming at you live from the heart of Central Texas. Russell Maben from Temple, Texas, with my best friend Jay. That is not Jay Thompson at all. This guy's way too ugly. Way too ugly to be Jay Thompson.
Way too young to be Jay Thompson.
Oh!
Way too young to be that guy.
Shots fired.
That's right.
Shots fired. I got my great friend Jordan Dolotina here from the LFC and the VFC.
That's right.
Just knocking it out. World famous band director or world class?
I don't. Maybe locally famous. Maybe
locally famous,
and that's
band
questionable.
director.
Number 2,
at least all the way to Will Rochelle. So
yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's what we're talking about.
At
man.
least 14 people know who I am.
Exactly. There's at least 200 new people every year.
Yeah, right.
Cool, man. Well, how's it going?
It's going great. Thanks for having me on the show.
Man, come on,
This is
dude.
fun, man. I love talking football. So
You like talking football?
yeah, right.
Okay, write that down.
Yeah,
put
write
that
that
in
down.
put that in the notes. Okay, Dolotina likes to talk
Yeah, I
football.
only call him a couple times a week just to do that. So,
Yeah, and it's why? Because I talked you into Dynasty.
that's right. Appreciate that.
All right. Well, that's exactly what we're about to do. That's what I'm talking about. So when we say that's what I'm talking about, it's just like an NFL game. I mean, it's like that's what I'm talking about. You know, like
That's what I'm
nobody
talking
was
about.
nobody was even talking, but that's okay. That's what we're talking about. So we're gonna hit you up with that's what we're talking about for this week. So Dolotina, what are you talking about?
Okay, so I was not a Lamar Jackson guy in the offseason
Me either.
because I was just like, kind of like with Josh Allen. I was worried that the fantasy production was all legs, and I heard all the reports about like, you know, he's really been working on his throwing and like he's going to throw the ball and all that. And then he comes out in week 1, and that's what I'm talking about. He just sticks it to America, sticks it to the world, and he's like, 17 of 20, 324 yards through the air and 5 touchdowns. This dude had 42 fantasy points, depending on your format. And he did all this with 6 rushing yards. 6 rushing yards. So, like, I don't expect the 6 yards to hold. Like, he's going to have more than that, like, every other week this year.
Sure.
So, even if the passing numbers and, of course, the touchdowns are going to come, this is probably his best or one of his couple best games of the year, I'm positive. 59 points against the Dolphins. That's not going to happen every week, and you don't get to play the Dolphins every week, unfortunately. But my goodness, like I think he's got to be quarterback 1, quarterback 2, the 5 passing touchdowns for sure. Crazy.
I did not see the accuracy and the touch coming from his passing.
17 to 20.
At all.
It was outstanding. And I didn't count how many receivers it was, but it wasn't just like a guy or two. You know, like
right. I think Hollywood only caught like 2 balls
I know,
and
right?
touchdowns.
But they're for like 1 billion yards.
Yeah, it was amazing, man.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So good for him.
Cool, man.
He's going to do it again this week, by the way.
Whoa.
Yeah, 40 plus points this week.
Calling it
plus.
like a baller. All right. Let me tell you what I'm talking about.
I want to hear what you're talking about.
I'm talking about Austin Eckler playing the role of Wally Pipp.
Who's a Pip? Who's Wally Pip?
Come on, man. He's
Is
the
that
guy
the
that played for the Yankees before Lou Gehrig took over, and he
gotcha.
missed 1 game and then never played again because Lou Gehrig played 26 to 100 consecutive games.
Dude,
So-
Eckler looks awesome.
Yeah. So to me, Austin Eckler just made Melvin Gordon's contract situation look really stupid.
You know, and Gordon practiced with that guy for how many years? Like he should have known. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Don't give this guy an opportunity.
Yeah, for real.
It is on if you do. Well, cool, man. So the next thing we move on to right after we tell you what we're talking about is something big in the fantasy world that's going on right now. So what you got? What's the hot take for you?
I've totally enjoyed the Antonio Brown saga. If he played for my team, I would not enjoy it at all. I'd be so stressed out. But he's not a Cowboy and has never been.
Praise the Lord.
So I don't really care about the drama. I just enjoy it. So the whole thing's been crazy. This whole summer's been crazy,
including the rape charge.
Including the rape charge, and that's not what I'm here to talk about. But I have the hot take because everybody's been so excited about him joining the Patriots and like what
it's going to be Moss.
Yeah,
it's going to be
exactly,
Moss.
Exactly. So my hot take is that he's less valuable a fantasy asset for the Patriots than he was for the Raiders. So
or anybody else.
Sure. So the idea is like you saw. First off, the Raiders look like a competent offense against Denver, and I thought at least that Denver would be a good defense. So like seeing them move the ball the way that they did, I was like, okay, Oakland, okay, knock on wood if you're with me, right?
I'm looking at you.
So basically I thought Tyrell Williams was just put into that wide receiver 1 role, and they were just feeding him, and it was successful. And like that's, to me, I don't think that's Tyrell Williams as much as that's the scheme. Like that's where Antonio Brown would have been. Like those are his looks if he's in the game, not because he's better than Tyrell Williams, although he is. Just because that's the role, like that's the wide receiver.
Because they would have had to feed him so he wouldn't go crazy.
Exactly, and he might still go crazy.
Right.
So I think that scheme, that Oakland scheme, they were going to feed him, like he was going to get a ton of targets. And in New England, that's not necessarily the case.
They go game by game
Yes.
on offense and defense.
Well, and they have so many weapons now,
Yeah.
and like I don't know how do you stop giving Edelman 10 targets a game, like, and then. I'm not a Josh Gordon guy either, to be honest with you. But still, like, while he's out there, while he's healthy, throw him the ball.
While he's allowed to play football in the NFL.
And then, James White. And then, it's just... And then what if it's a game that they say, okay, we're going to run the ball 40 times? Because they do that. So
I know. It's
he's
game
gonna be,
to game.
I think
it's
he's going to be more hot-cold in New England than he would have been in Oakland. So that's my hot take, is that he's better off as a Raider. I don't think he's Moss.
I got Todd Gurley with the 10th pick in the RFL, my only redraft league, and I was very excited.
Yeah.
And after week 1, I'm looking at this like, I think his days as a top running back might be over. Like I got his backup, and I got some other stuff, but I don't know. I mean, I'm scared. Like, I just spent the 10th pick of the draft on this dude, and he got, my boy Malcolm Brown, University of Texas, hooked him up. So I'm terrified.
It's
honestly.
definitely a value hit, that's for sure. Because he's not last year, and it's been one game, and it's not time to overreact. And he had 97 yards or something.
I can overreact because he's mine, and it was my team.
Absolutely, you're allowed to do that. That's what this whole thing is for.
Oh yeah. Because Dolotina called me today. I'm
cried.
blowing my whole team up, man. I hate this. This is terrible.
I cried.
Falling apart.
Yeah, I cried.
All right, so we have a few questions. One of them from your best woman right there.
My best woman. Does that imply that I have more than one?
I would hope not.
I hope not.
Better not.
Yeah. Hope not. I'll get in
if
trouble.
so, I'm calling her right now. I'll tell her. All right, so I have 2 questions from one guy. A guy named Mark that you probably know.
Love that guy.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know him, but I have his kid in my class.
Pretty cool.
So
I wish he was in my class.
You've already covered this one, so I'll hit this one up. Lamar Jackson expectations. How about the softball? Less than last week, but better than last year. How about that? Apparently, he really has worked on his passing game, and I expect to see him do well. I don't really think you can expect a perfect passer rating and 4 touchdowns a week.
That's Dolphins.
But
That's the Dolphins.
I don't think he's Pat Mahomes.
No.
Okay. So, but I still think he's going to be a fantasy Hoss top 5 kind of cat. I wouldn't take him out.
Well, and specifically this week against Arizona, I guess I'm going to talk about that at another time in the show, but I think Stafford had 385 against them last week.
With Darrell Bevel calling the plays.
Yeah, right. So, anyway, there's the upside this week is massive. Like, I haven't ranked it out, but probably second or third ranked overall this week, like behind Mahomes and maybe Watson.
Well, they had him
because those guys both have tough matchups.
Yeah, they have him number 2 this week on the site that I use for our top 12. What about Philip Dorsett? His value with AB on board in New England?
Down, man, down. I just think there's so many targets there. Like, I understand.
And that's true, but you got to look at it. Julian Edelman's 54. Josh Gordon is one puff away from never playing the football again.
Yeah.
N'Keal Harry is out for what, 10 weeks?
Sure. And then AB could potentially not even play week 2.
And they go,
you don't know.
Tom Brady will throw to the open guy. He gives a crap who you are.
Yeah.
So I think his value is going to drop a little bit, but I think there's a role for those inside guys, and him and Edelman have that on lockdown. And I don't think he really cares. Like you say, Edelman's going to get his targets. But everybody else, I think, is week to week.
If you're saying hold on the season, I can get behind that. But like on a week to week thing, if those guys are playing, I'm not putting Dorsett in.
Correct.
So like week to week.
Sure. Yeah, I'll go for that. But I'd stash him on the bench.
Especially if it's a big enough bench to.
Yeah. If you've got plenty of bench spots, I'd stash him. Yeah, for sure. And he could be an emergency bye week fill in if you don't, So let's go ahead. Some chick asked us to pick 3 out of these 4 right here. You may know her, even biblically.
That's right. Legally. Legally tied to her.
We got OBJ, Calvin Ridley, Hollywood Brown, and Alshon Jeffrey. Pick 3 of those 4. Who are you leaving out?
I am leaving out Alshon Jeffrey.
Ooh.
He's coming off of that big game.
Yeah. So you're not riding the wave?
No, yeah, I'm not. It's funny.
You're not gonna let Mayo trade him to you?
No, but it's funny because I'm gonna say that I'm not chasing last week's points with Alshon, but that's why I have Hollywood Brown in. But again, it's about the matchup for me with Hollywood Brown.
Sure.
It's like if I expect, because I really do think that we're talking 40 plus points in that, for the Baltimore offense. Okay. If that's going to happen, then why not get like their version of Deshaun Jackson, which is kind of what I'm saying.
I'm benching Hollywood.
You're benching Hollywood.
Out of those 4, give me, because the other 3 really kind of have a starting type role. Hollywood played 18% of the snaps last week.
That's a big problem.
I mean, God bless him for producing like a son of a gun
right.
with 18% of the snaps, but I don't see a repeat of that. That could happen, but I don't know.
Fair enough.
So moving ahead to a childhood friend of mine named Justin. Will Aaron Jones bounce back this week?
Man, I hope so because I have him. I have him in an important
Traded
spot in
him
the
for
money
a
league.
2020 first. What?
Yeah. So this week, I don't know against the Vikings. I mean, I think it would be an overreaction to say that they shut down the Falcons and that Green Bay won't do anything. But I mean, they shut down the Falcons. You know what I mean? So it's like that capability is there for certain. So I don't know. I'm still starting him. I'm flexing him in the league that I've got.
That's what I was going to say. He's going to do better than last week, but I don't like the snap count there.
Yeah,
there was a lot of Jamal Williams.
Yeah,
there was a lot of Jamal Williams.
Which just makes no sense. Because I feel like he's a pass protector, and that's it.
Yeah, and so I would say if you have a flex spot, that's probably fine. But if you don't, I'd probably bench him and put somebody else. And you probably have somebody better that can
I don't think you can be too reactionary about last week. So,
don't judge him against the Bears.
Yeah, exactly. So number 1, and that was week 1. Rodgers going to figure that thing out. Like they're going to score some points. It's not going to be a 10-point game again.
He probably will, but if it doesn't work for a little while, it's going to get ugly there. I mean, there's going to be there's going to be a mutiny because
it'll be him leading it.
Exactly.
He's quick to throw someone under the bus.
Exactly. Okay, my buddy Lamp Simpson wants to know Dak or Matt Ryan this week. Matt Ryan's playing Philadelphia. I know you know who Dak's playing.
That one's hard for me. I'll probably go. I'm going to go Matt Ryan there. I like that offense, and then what did Keenum throw against them? It was massive. I just don't remember the total.
It's like 357.
Yeah, it was a big number.
3 touchdowns, something like that.
It's a bounce back. It's at home. It's a good spot for Matt Ryan, I think. I don't expect them to be. What is it, 3 quarters?
I will second that, but I would say.
Can you start both of them?
I'll second that, but I will say. It's not by much. I think their tags maybe touch because Washington's stout up front. They got nothing but first-round picks along that defensive line, and I know they got Jonathan Allen out this week, but they still got a bunch of first-round picks on that defensive line, and I think they're going to load up with Landon Collins in the box and try to stop Zeke, and it's going to be the same thing as last week. You're going to have to throw him out of it, and that's what we have to do. I think most weeks. And I
Yeah.
think now we can. I saw a cool video this week on some mechanical changes that Dak has made. So I say, if you can start both of them, do it. If you have to choose, take Ryan. But if you choose Dak, I don't think you're going to lose.
If you're a
either
Cowboy
way.
fan, you
If
want to
got-
start your guy.
Yeah,
go
if
for it.
you got both of them, I mean, and you can't only start one, I don't think you can go wrong. I don't think it matters.
I think the smart move is Ryan, but like the emotional thing, like it's fun to have your guys in there. I mean, we do this for fun, so why not?
Yeah, it gives you a double reason to get excited when they score. Okay, his second question is something that I'm all about, especially if you play fantasy like for real, and you're not just doing this because your buddies at work do it. How much stock do you put into matchup versus who the player is?
Okay, so I always split the difference here. So I'm a start your studs guy for sure. Like I'm not pulling Devontae Adams out no matter what, no matter who he's playing, no matter that he had 36 yards against the Bears, like, and he's got another bad matchup. Your studs go in every week, and I don't overthink that.
Where do you draw the line on studs?
I don't know.
Like top 24, top 15?
Probably top 12 or top 15. Top.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean just the top.
So I never bench
Just
my
the top
receivers in
guys.
the UFC. That's what you're telling me.
Yes, exactly. You never bench them. Like, don't get cute and put, Hollywood Brown in chasing last week.
Yeah.
Don't get cute and put him in over Devontae Adams.
What
over
about if
Julio.
you got-
obviously that kind of thing? But like
What about if your team is playing the Dolphins a lot? You have a lot of
for real. So I do think that like after that, like even your guys like your Calvin Ridleys that like you can plug them in every week type guys. After about the top 12 at wide receiver and running back, I mean I'm playing matchups. I'm all matchups for those wide receiver 2 spots, the wide receiver 3 spots,
Flex
the running back
spots.
2 spots, the flex spots.
Yep.
Those are always just straight matchups. Like who's got the softest defense.
Yep,
So-
on board. I second what he just said. To me, I may stretch it a little further than that, maybe into the top 15 or so, maybe a little bit further, depending on who the guy is and how much I trust him and how much I trust the offense. I'm looking for targets. I'm looking for carries. I'm looking for touches. Who's getting the ball? Okay, if they got somebody that's going to get the ball 20 times, pretty much guaranteed a week, I'm just gonna take the chance that he's going to maybe wander his way into the end zone at some point.
Yeah,
So-
maybe if he's going to get 20 carries.
Right.
18 carries,
If
and
you
nobody gets
give
that
him
anymore.
a running back in the LFC with 20 carries, he's going to put that
take it.
guy in. Yeah,
I'll take
he's going to put him in. So,
I don't care if he's 34-year-old.
hey, I got him.
Yeah.
I can ship him over.
We'll talk later.
All right, so let's get into some quarterbacks here and see what we got going on here. So we got the top 12 quarterbacks that we're not going to touch. These are in order: Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, Deshaun Watson, Carson Wentz, Dak Prescott. They still got Wentz ahead of Prescott and everything. Cam Newton, Matt Ryan, Jared Goff, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and Baker Mayfield. Yes, sir.
I would start some of these guys we have listed over Baker. I think.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens. All right, so let's start at the top. Let's go with the ones that we agreed on. Let's talk about those real quick.
Okay, I'll start this one. So I love Josh Allen this week at New York Giants. So that, I mean,
Are you starting him?
Yeah. I would. I want to believe in like Kellen Moore and the new offense in Dallas. Like I want to. That's a dream come true right there. And I will say that I mostly do, but like I think the Giants are bad. I mean, I think everybody thinks that. So he just made Dak look like Peyton Manning. So I'm all about
The young Peyton Manning.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not the I throw a bunch of wobbly touchdowns thing. You remember that quote? That was awesome. In case you don't know, there was a reporter that said, "Hey, Peyton, I know that I've noticed you've been throwing a lot of wobbly passes. A lot of wobbly passes this year." And he's like, "Yeah, I throw a lot of wobbly touchdowns too." So I think that guy's awesome. So, anyways, yeah, I think that Josh Allen's going to have a big passing week, and then he's going to have at least 40 yards on the ground. Like he seems to average that.
And he's running out of old running backs to hand the ball to, man.
Yeah, right.
I mean, so I think he's just going to be, to me, 405 yards and 4 touchdowns. That's not
That's
Dak
not
Prescott
that, no.
numbers. So I agree. I think he's going to light it up this week. I also like that you liked Russell Wilson. To me, he's a typical top 5 quarterback. He only had 20 attempts last week and only targeted Lockett once.
Yeah, both of
That's
those should go
weird.
up, right?
Yeah, both of those have to go way up, way up. and didn't rush for that many yards. Hasn't been doing that the last few years, but I foresee Russell Wilson having a big game this week at Pittsburgh. I think they both have to score some points this week in that matchup.
Yeah, both defenses look a little. I mean, it was the champs. The New England kind of took it to Pittsburgh. I completely took it to them. So you don't want to overreact on that, but it looks like you can score on Pittsburgh, and Andy Dalton showed that you could score on Seattle as well.
Big time.
I think both. He's going to be playing catch up.
Well, speaking of scoring on Seattle, we both picked Big Ben as well, and once again, another guy that to me he's always been way underrated fantasy wise.
Yeah.
If you look at the end results, I mean, he's always like top 7, top 8. Sometimes
sometimes top 2 or top 3.
Yeah, and so and this week, I think they're going to be hopping mad. I mean, I think these guys professionals, they take this crap personally when they get shut down like that.
You're talking huge
egos. They're not putting
egos,
up that
big egos. So I've always kind of bought into the home road splits that you saw with Big Ben for like all of his career until I think just last year. It was like really just last year that like it wasn't a glaring thing. I think that last year was an anomaly, and we all saw road Ben last week, and and I think that we're going to see home Ben this week. And Andy Dalton,
the
Andy
Steelers
Dalton
are going home Ben, home
yeah,
Ben,
for real.
home Ben.
So they Andy Dalton won 400 on them, so on Seattle. So why can't Big Ben?
All right, I'm gonna stick right there. I took Andy Dalton this week.
It's funny how these guys just.
I like. Hey man, we're jiving, baby. So I took Andy Dalton this week. I looked at it like, you know what? They had 14 rush attempts last week. I know Mixon got hurt, but now Mixon may or may not play, and so he had 50 attempts, passing attempts last week. So Andy Dalton to me is a play. They had. I don't know if you know this. Their head coach is a genius because he had lunch with Sean McVay one time.
Yeah.
So this is totally, this guy is going to be the boy genius over there. They're gonna score 50 a game, and so I'm taking Andy Dalton this week, man. Who else do you like besides those three that we mentioned?
Okay, so Derek Carr. I'm trying not to get hung up on Hard Knocks because he was so likable in Hard Knocks.
He's a good dude, man.
Yeah, he's a good dude. So I don't know. Just boils down to this was a good-looking offense in Week 1, and they're going to need to play catch-up against Mahomes.
You think?
Kansas City Chiefs. So they're gonna have to toss the rock. So, I
don't disagree with that.
I like him, and I like that. They were effective against what I thought was a pretty good defense. So
cool. I'm going to take Matt Stafford at home. I know that he is a lot more comfortable in the dome. And they are playing the Chargers, who have no Derwin James. Mm-hmm. A lot of banged up guys over there. I wasn't looking for 45 attempts out of Matt Stafford.
Yeah, that's
Darryl
vintage.
Bevel that's the old
Matt Stafford. Yeah.
That's 2012 Matt Stafford. So I was excited about it, and he doesn't check the ball down. He gets a lot of air yards in his passes. He throws down the field. He gets. It's Marvin Jones. It's Kenny Galladay. It's Amendola, and now it's Hawkinson. Mm-hmm. And so it's all wide receiver tight end stuff. Yeah. And so to me, that's the real big boy quarterbacks. Yeah.
Hawk is a big play tight end.
Oh yeah. He's
a big play.
So I love Matt Stafford this week. Who's your last quarterback?
All right, so my last one, and it's Phil Rivers. I have some concerns with.
The guy's money.
Yeah, he's money. I mean, Hunter Henry's hurt.
You can write his stat line before the game starts.
Yes, absolutely. It's like 285 and 2 touchdowns. That's it. I mean,
what's the stats going to be at the end of the year?
I don't know, but he'll be.
It's always 4,500 yards and 37 touchdowns, right? The low 30s.
So anyway, there's legitimate concerns. Hunter Henry's out for like 8 weeks or something, and then Mike Williams is questionable, and I think he's like a pretty hardcore questionable. Like I don't think he's playing. So I mean that certainly hurts. I mean that certainly hurts, but. I just like Phil Rivers when you need a quarterback 2 to go and then put up numbers. I like Phil Rivers. Always.
If you have a 2-quarterback league, he's like the perfect second quarterback.
Absolutely.
Yeah, love it. Cool, man. Well, let's move on to some running backs. You do have fantasy game time here with Russell Maven and Jordan Dolotina from Temple, Texas. And we have running backs that we are not going to go over are Christian McCaffrey, because he's already playing, Zeke, Saquon Barkley, Alvin Kamara, Nick Chubb, Le'Veon Bell, even though he may or may not play with that shoulder, James Conner, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Chris Carson, David Johnson, and Todd Gurley.
Yeah, you
The
still got to start him.
pick in the
You
draft.
still got to start him.
So we got to. All right, we
Don't
got
overreact.
All right. Well, it's my
Your
prerogative.
team. You're allowed to do that with your own team.
I'm supposed to overreact about my
That's true.
team. So let's see. Who do we have in common here? Let's go with right off the top, Mark Ingram. You like it again this week?
40-plus points for the Ravens. I'm going to say this in every position category. I mean,
Are you taking the right tackle this week?
yes.
Okay.
That's right.
All right.
I'll take their wide receiver 4. That's what Hollywood Brown is, right? Anyway, in 2018, the Cards were worst against running backs. Now they certainly looked improved, shutting Kerryon Johnson down. But I don't know that I buy that. I kind of wonder if that's a Darrell Bevel issue. Although the running games are all.
We've been throwing some shade at Darrell Bevel this whole podcast. I'm not a big fan either.
But anyways, I'm not buying the shutdown of their them shutting down Detroit's running backs.
I look at it like this: they got Brown, that's a big time, explosive player. They got Jackson, that's an explosive player that can get it down close, and he's their goal line guy.
Yeah,
he's their punch in guy.
They got too much to worry about Mark Ingram.
Exactly, and he's like in a perfect position too.
Yeah.
Man, he looks weird in that 21 too, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
I think he wore 21 one year with the Saints. It still looks weird.
It looks too too narrow for him. You know what I mean?
Right. I think he's trying to trim up, make himself
Yeah,
like
right.
a trimmer. Who knows?
It's working.
Yeah, I like it.
Keep up the good work.
Do we have anybody else the
No,
same?
that's
It
it.
doesn't look like it. All right, so cool. Real quick, I'm going to take Leonard Fournette this week. How about your LSU Tigers? I'm going to take old Leonard Fournette for you. He got 5 yards of carry and 4 receptions last
That's
week.
nice
and if
to
they're gonna sprinkle in some catches for
Yeah.
him,
Oh, yeah.
he's money, man. Because they got nothing else. They got to have old porn stash back there at quarterback. And
He's a cool dude, isn't he?
he is. I love him, man. He has some cachet, man. I like that dude. And so Gardner Minshew hand the ball off to Leonard Fournette. What say you?
Yeah, I like it, man. I mean, against Houston, they're pretty soft matchup, I think.
A lot of points going up on Monday night.
Yeah,
That was a
yeah.
fantastic.
That was
game.
so much fun. The end of that thing was brilliant. So
Yeah, I couldn't believe
I mean, I think
that. Yeah,
I think Fournette's a little lazy, but
you would know better than most.
yeah, I think he's a little lazy, and he's had some injury issues with that ankle.
Here's
But,
the thing, though. If he's going to make money as a running back, he needs to perform now and next year.
Yes.
So
And
to me, this is as much motivation as you need.
if he's out there, I'd start him. I would start him. I like that pick a lot. I took Sonny Michel against Miami. So if we're gonna hang, if
Vaunted no-name defense
exactly.
out there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right.
So if Lamar Jackson's gonna hang 59 on him, let's just see what Brady can do. And if that's the case, then I'm all about Sonny Michel being that banger inside and against the soft matchup. So I mean,
You know who I flexed at running back in the RFL that I'm taking this week? Austin Eckler.
oh heck yeah.
Team name Eckler. I hardly know her. I won the team name this year. I won.
Good.
I don't care what anybody else came up with.
That's all we ever really want to win when we start a fantasy.
My
like that.
daughter came up with that. Eckler. I hardly know her. I love it because to me, he's a style changer for them. I mean, when he's in there, the offense looks completely different. It looks like a wide open offense rather than let's run the ball, Melvin Gordon, knees up, let's go.
You don't know what he's gonna do.
Yeah, man, and
he's-
he catches
and
the
he's
ball
little,
like
but he's strong.
He catches the ball like Larry Sanders back in the old days, man. I love this guy, and he played super good. So I'm going to take Austin Eckler at Detroit. Yes, they're on the road, but I got a good feeling about it.
Well, and Rivers has to throw to somebody, and it's not going to be Hunter Henry or Mike Williams this week. I don't think so.
That's right.
Yeah, I love the pick. In this segment, I tried to pick different ones than him.
Yeah.
So there's guys I like better than some of the ones I'm naming, but I wanted to go a little deeper with some of these guys.
For sure. Who else you like?
All right, so I think Dallas is a pretty good defense, but I'm all about Adrian Peterson this week.
The last 2 games they played, they've given up 200 yards rushing.
I did not know that. But I like Adrian Peterson with a chip on his shoulder. So this might be the biggest ego in the league. I mean,
Pride, man.
Yeah, he requested or demanded a trade out of New Orleans when they weren't using him to send him to Arizona. He and
Do you
then
consider him a journeyman running back?
no, I still don't.
Me neither.
No. So after being a healthy scratch last week, that's insulting. We're not even going to take you to the game, AP. That's crazy. So
here's your golf shirt and your hat.
yeah, for real.
Come on,
You can
man.
stay at home.
That's
So
embarrassing.
anyway,
And now 2 of the running backs that they wanted to use are hurt. So
I mean, this could be a really big statement week for him. Like, I think he'll play well.
cool, man. I follow one guy on Twitter that says Matt Breida is like an American Express card. You don't leave your draft without him.
Yeah, I wish I would have followed that advice.
And he totally fulfilled that, because now both of the guys ahead of him are gone, and he's pretty much it.
It only took him until like quarter number 3 of week 1 to like outlast everyone.
Yep.
Gosh,
And he does
that's
have
bad.
injury concerns, but
Big time.
But to
But
me,
he's weird. Like, his injury concerns are like, it's the second quarter, and they're like, he broke his leg. Oh no! And then he's back. Like,
he plays in the second half.
yeah. Then he's back in the second half, and you're like, what the heck? I thought he broke his neck. Like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, he did, but he's still out there. Like,
He's tough, man.
I mean,
he's Tony
year,
Romo.
The injuries last year were crazy. I couldn't keep up with how many times he was getting hurt, and then it looked really bad, and then he's back in.
But when he goes in, then he'll show up on Twitter being one of the fastest players on
Right.
their
With the broken
on
leg.
the broken leg.
leg.
Yeah. So to me, while he's the guy,
He's juice, man.
sign me up. I'll ride that wave.
Yeah, he's so dynamic. I mean, he's, again, when he's out there playing.
When he's out.
All about that. So I'm going to go with another old guy, LaShawn McCoy at Oakland.
I was with the age at running back this week.
And that's not me either. I like young guys. So this is it's a 13 touches.
You heard it here first.
You heard it here. So 13 touches last week for 93 total yards. It's like, my goodness, like that's a really good week. I'm kind of expecting this to be the new norm, and I think that in this offense he's gonna find it. He's gonna find the end zone every now and again. And yes, really, I do, because it just seemed like you had a very effective runner in LaShawn McCoy. Mm-hmm. I think he was like 8 yards per carry, which I'm sure won't continue.
Right.
But it might. I mean,
I think it was 8.1.
He still looks good. Like, he still looks the part. He still looks shifty. He's still got the lateral movement, and he's still got the juice.
He made a couple of moves in the preseason that I was kind of like,
yeah, no, he still absolutely looks the part. And then I don't know what Damian Williams yards per carry was. But
It wasn't
good. I mean, I don't think it was average. Yeah. So like we're running behind the same line with the same quarterback back there. So to me, you've got a running back, and then you have a receiving back, and Damian Williams looked very good in that role. So I kind of think that they're both valuable, and that you could start both of them, especially this week against Oakland.
Yeah, and especially being Pat Mahomes being your quarterback. The last guy I took was Josh Jacobs. I know they're going to be way behind in Kansas City, but last week he only had 1 reception. I see that going way up this week. I think he may get 4 or 5 receptions this week. He got 24 touches last week, so I think if they're going to stay in this game, I think they're going to need him. And, there's nobody that the Raiders want to beat more than the Kansas City Chiefs. Yeah. They hate each other. So, to me, Jacobs is a good play this week. So that's for my nephew Jared. Taking your Raider, man. Let's go.
Yeah, man. After last week, I'd start him. Yeah, and I would just start him.
Oh yeah.
I mean, until he proves you otherwise. I do have a little bit of concern with the game script, because like it just, especially early in the game, because late in the game it was all Jacobs, but early in the game they would throw out Rashard in there and passing down. So.
Yeah, Rashard is what he is. He's been that guy, that scat back.
Right.
He's like, one of the only scat backs in the league that's healthy every year.
Yeah. I never thought about that. That's funny. That's true. All right, so my last guy, totally not old like my last two.
Yeah,
Devin
this guy's like
Singletary.
21.
Yeah. How I like him, right?
This is the reason they got rid of LaShawn McCoy.
Yeah. So he didn't start. Devin Singletary did not start the game, but he outsnapped Gore 45-19. 98 total yards, and he had 6 targets. So
I loved his tape in college too, man.
I mean, he was so scary to draft because he was like a 5.2 40-yard dash or something like that. But what was it? A 4.6? Was it 4.6?
It was 4.6 or something like that. But
That's
he doesn't look
linebacker.
Like he doesn't look like a 4.6 on his tape. Well.
So, but yeah, that snap percentage, and then how effective he was, and then against the Giants, like this is a matchup I'd love to have him out there.
Sweet. Well, let's move on to some wide receivers and see what's going on over here. The people we're not going to take in order: Julio, Nuke, OBJ, Devontae Adams. There's all my UFC wide receivers already gone.
That's amazing.
Michael Thomas, Juju, Sammy Watkins. I still can't believe that crap. Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, Mike Evans, who's already playing, Robert Woods, and Adam Thielen. So those are the guys that we can't pick.
Hey, real quick, are you buying Sammy Watkins? No, as like an every week top 12 guy. Like
No,
me neither.
no,
Me neither.
This
but it would be
guy's
so
done nothing
easy.
but underperform his entire career.
Yes. So I mean, he had a massive week 1, and I would be
That's going to be the best game he has in his whole career.
and I would be excited to have him, and I would certainly start him. But seeing him as a top 12 is strange.
Yeah,
And I don't think that it'll stay there.
To me, he's sold under a lucky star getting Pat Mahomes and Andy Reid to work with. I don't know, man. Dallas went after him, and when he was a free agent, offered him $14 million a year, and he took Kansas City's offer. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus, man. I hate that guy.
I don't hate him. I just think he's not going
I
to
don't
top
think
12.
he's that good, man. I don't think he's that good. All right. So do we have any matchups here that we both agree? Yes, Brandon Cooks. Let's start with Cooks, man. To me, last week, 23 targets for Kupp and Woods, and then he only had like 6. So I'm betting way against that this week. And every year, at the end of the year, when you check, every year that he's been playing,
yards.
top 13 wide receiver every single year. So I don't think this year's any different. I think he had a weird week 1. I'm going with Brandon Cooks, taking on his former team. Let's go.
Revenge game. It's that simple.
Man.
And
Revenge
like,
game.
it's not even like this was his former team. Like, this was the team that drafted him.
Right.
And he was playing really well for them. And then it's like second or third season, they ship him off to New England. And then was it just one season with New England before they ship him off to, I mean, it's strange for such a productive receiver to get shipped around like that.
And he's a good dude.
And I'm sure he's happy with where he's at. He's only played for great teams. It's funny, and great quarterbacks. But
Yeah, that's true.
well, Goff is.
I don't know if you call Crawford a great
Goff's not.
quarterback.
But
he's paid
Goff
like
is
one.
like the worst quarterback you've played for. Like you're doing all right.
You're doing all right. Yeah.
So anyway, the revenge game. Like New Orleans, these are the folks that started his getting shipped around.
Sweet. All right. Well, other receivers for me, I took T.Y. Hilton at Tennessee because he's proven to be quarterback proof. He performed with Jacoby Brissett last week, got the 2 touchdowns. He's the guy that's going to get most of the targets there. I was really impressed with him and Mac coming out and dominating.
Mac.
Regardless.
Holy cow.
Like Andrew Hoop. Let's go. We gave Brissett $15 million a year. Let's go.
How come nobody picked Marlon Mack? I guess because they're playing. Whatever. Okay, sorry, I got sidetracked. Marlon Mack last week was insane.
He was. Can he do it again?
I don't know. I don't think T.Y. Hilton's going to do it either against Tennessee.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we have to put a little bet on that one. I do like Brissett just fine to feed him all year. I just think that Tennessee defense could be real good.
They were salty.
So I'm going to just...
I
I don't trust Antonio Brown to stay out of trouble. Again, I've enjoyed the saga. But let's just say that he plays the next 16 weeks, right?
Okay.
Then he's going to be he will be a top guy. This might be one of my last opportunities to pick him and put him in this category.
Okay.
So I've got Antonio Brown at Miami. Said it a bunch of times. Ravens hung 59 on him. So let's see what Brady can do. And he's got a new toy to play with. So
I'm going to laugh if they score like 3 points on the Dolphins, man.
I'll feel so stupid for this podcast. I'm like, hey, take that podcast down.
Delete
take
it
it down.
Delete
take
that.
it down.
I'm gonna take a guy that didn't do that well last week too, Tyler Lockett. He only caught 1 ball the whole week.
That's so weird.
So to me, he had a perfect quarterback rating last year. You throw it to that dude, man. So that you can't make that kind of mistake.
Perfect QB rating last week too.
Yeah, you can't take that.
With the one catch.
Yeah,
It was the only
I
target.
know. Stupid. You can't.
stupid.
Come
You
on,
gotta
man.
throw it at him
Let's
more.
go. You got to throw it at him. Well, you can't throw it at that big dude just because he's 6'4".
Mm-hmm.
So going against Pittsburgh, and I know they pay Joe Hayden a lot of money, but I'm not a big believer in Joe Hayden anymore. Man, he's like 30. So
Yeah.
I'm not. Come on, man.
Yeah.
He's only 15 years younger than me. Let's go. So
He's my age.
Yeah, he's Dolotina. He's a pup, man. He's wet behind the ears around there. So yeah, I'm going Tyler Lockett. I like him. I'm buying. I'm a big buyer on Tyler Lockett this year.
So my next guy, and
No.
yeah, I feel sick.
No.
Hollywood Brown.
No.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Get nuts, man.
Again, I'm really not trying to chase last week's points, and I feel like I am, but that's not what I'm trying to do. Like I'm looking at is I got Stafford going for 385.
Let me tell you who did good last week. No, I want to know who's going to do good this week.
I'm telling you, man. The Ravens this week against Arizona. It's going to be huge.
Sweet. I like it. I ain't mad at you. Well, I'm going to attack your Dolphins, too. I'm going to take the other two guys.
Yeah, take both of them.
I'm taking Josh Gordon and Julian Edelman because Edelman, like you say, is always gonna get his targets.
Absolutely.
He's always going to get the catches, but the touchdowns are going to go to Josh Gordon. So I'm taking Josh Gordon over Antonio Brown this week, and I don't disagree with you that Antonio Brown is awesome and all that stuff. I just think he's got to get his head right.
Yeah,
and
it certainly is not right.
It's definitely not.
All three of them, man. I mean, this could be just a huge week for them. So my next guy, and I feel pretty good about this one, John Brown at the Giants.
Lots of looks this week.
Yeah, man. He had lots of looks last week. This is Josh's top guy, and they should light up the Giants. So, I mean, I think John Brown's a top 24 wide receiver this season if he stays. As long as he's healthy, he's a top dude. I really do think so. By
the way, he's my wide receiver 4 in the UFC. So
I think you could play him, man. I mean, not over those other
not
guys.
over those other dudes, I'm not.
But like that's those 3 weeks, those 3 bye weeks.
Okay, so you're all in with Buffalo over New York.
Yes.
Is Daniel Jones going to be starting sooner rather than later?
I mean, I would. They're all in rebuild, right? I would put Daniel Jones out there. But
Don't tell that to Pat Shermer.
There's so much respect for Eli.
Yeah.
And I understand it. Like they're treating him well. So I mean, good for him.
$23 million.
Yeah, I would move on. So my last guy is Cooper Kupp versus New Orleans.
Love him.
10 targets in week 1 off of injury.
Love him.
And more importantly, he passed the eyeball test. Like he looks spry. Like the cuts are there. He's playing hard.
He was getting open.
Yeah. Well, and in that scheme, I like the coverage that he gets.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I like Kupp a lot this week. A whole lot.
I do too, man. And his dad played for the Cowboys. Come on.
I didn't know that.
Well, I wouldn't say he played for the Cowboys. He was on the team and he had his pads on and he was on the roster.
Oh, that's very cool. That's more than me.
He's better than I was. How about that? Clearly, he's got better genes than you and I. So once again, this is
short and fast.
Short. I'm not short. I'm shortish. I'm short for an NFL player, but not like Cole Beasley's like 5'8".
Yeah, he's got me by 1 inch.
Oh yeah, I got a picture of me standing next to Cole Beasley. It looks like I'm talking to my kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once again, this is Fantasy Game Time, live from Central Texas. Russell Maben, Jordan Dolotina, bringing it to you, the real deal, real stuff. We're going to move on to our tight ends now and talk about the 8 that we are not going to mention. That is Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Zach Ertz, Evan Ingram, O.J. Howard, which I don't believe in anyway. Delaney Walker,
Old.
available in the VFC. Come hit me up. At me, baby. Jared Cook and Darren Waller that you got
Darren
for
Waller, right.
like 45 cents.
Yeah, right.
Or what did you pay for that guy?
Darren Waller in that offense. They're going to use him.
Sweet, man. All right, so
And,
we got
and Darren Waller is that's people's tight end too. Like they got him late in drafts.
Oh yeah.
And like you can probably start him over the guy you are starting. Like unless your top guys like Ingram, Ertz, Kittle, Kelce, like you could absolutely start Waller there. I think. But
well,
maybe give it a week, give it another couple games. But
clearly not. They put him in the top 8.
Dude, it looked good. He looked really good.
All right. Well, let's talk about the 2 that we agree on. That's Hawkinson and Mark Andrews. What do you like about Hawkinson this week?
This is Evan Ingram, his rookie year. He was very, very, very good. This is Ingram 2.0. I cannot, like, it blows my mind. 6 for 131 and a touchdown.
You don't get 100 yards as a tight
on
end.
on 9 targets.
Ever.
Like, that's crazy.
Ever.
Like, say that one more time.
You don't ever get 100 yards as a rookie tight end.
No. Most tight ends don't get
Most tight ends at all.
How many of them have that upside even?
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
Kelce gets it, Kittle gets it.
I love
Ertz gets it. Ingram has that upside.
And,
and outside of that, like, how many guys get 100 yards at that position period?
Yeah, absolutely. And then Mark Andrews has been Lamar Jackson's dude, man. I mean, ever since he took over, you would think that his numbers would have gone down because Flacco really loves the tight end, and he really was getting some stuff. But
yeah, he was really overshadowed last week by Hawkinson, and I think even Waller, even though his numbers were better than Waller.
He was, but I think now that Lamar Jackson has shown that he can put the ball down the field, the middle of that field is going to open up. They're going to have to feed on the run, and the play action is going to work well. and the deep balls are going to open up that middle of the field, and I think he's just going to eat.
Lamar likes him. We should too.
Not bad for a running back.
Yeah, that was an awesome quote, man.
That was awesome. I also like David Njoku this week. I really feel like Baker Mayfield is one of those competitors that is not gonna take lightly to criticism and the way they got their butts kicked last week. So I think David Njoku, he got 8 targets last week, and to me,
that's a lot more targets than I was expecting.
yeah, me too. And scored a touchdown, and so he's kind of feeling pretty good. And confidence is everything in football. So I think Njoku's going to really need to be part of that if Baker's going to come out and play. And it was going to be Baker versus Darnold, so I thought that was kind of extra motivation for Baker. But now somebody's been kissing on Darnold, so I guess
like a middle school kid or something. That's mono.
Ouch.
You don't think of mono being like an adult thing.
Ouch. We're around middle schoolers. Sorry.
They're dirty.
Yeah. Anyways, who else do you like this week?
I like Austin Hooper versus Philadelphia. So I'm betting on a Falcons rebound this week at home.
Dude is like 14 years old.
Vernon Davis burned Philly last week. So
they didn't want to tackle him.
No. So, I mean, and Hooper's usage last week was good, too. I don't have the stats pulled up, but he looked good. He looked good last week, and he's got, I think, a good matchup. And he's in the dome, so.
Sweet. I like Vance McDonald this week. Pittsburgh's got to be embarrassed.
Oh, yeah. That was horrible.
That was ugly, man. And I really think this is going to be a pretty good fantasy game going into this because both teams kind of, traditional playoff teams, traditionally a good team. Former Super Bowl matchup, really bad Super Bowl by the way. It's terrible pass interference call against Seattle in that game. But Pittsburgh's going to be desperate for a win, and if they're going to do that, man, they're going to need to run the ball. They're going to need to hit the medium stuff, and they're going to need to hit it deep. And so I think the guy that they're going to look for is going to be Vance McDonald. And there's nobody at tight end that's going to take away his targets in Pittsburgh right now. So I'm going Vance McDonald versus Seattle at home.
All right, so I'm going with, I'm going to go with Vernon Davis again, and I know that Jordan Reed is going to play. At least I think
he's not.
He's not going to play.
He's not going to.
Even if he suits up, like he's going to play a quarter. Like that poor guy needs to retire. So Vernon Davis, Fountain of Youth, he got 7 targets and a touchdown last week.
Even if he loses a step, he's still faster than every tight end just about out.
Yeah, because he was an athletic freak when he came in, big time. So I don't know if Keenum has good chemistry with Vernon Davis, or if it was just in the game plan to target the tight end in Philly last week. But I'll this deep at tight end, I'll totally take a shot, and I think I would even consider starting him if they say Jordan Reed is playing. I would still put Vernon Davis out there.
I don't like Dallas's work against Evan Ingram last week.
Yeah.
I don't like Dallas's work against tight ends in general. So,
which is weird because they have linebackers that should theoretically be able to cover that position.
You would think.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean Lee only played 16 snaps though, and he's our best cover linebacker. But I'm gonna take a kind of a surprise one here. I'm gonna take Noah Fant, a rookie, 2 rookies. That's just weird. Against Chicago. Weird. Chicago, that tough defense that really laid the hammer down last week. But to me, that's going to put Denver behind. And Denver's going to have to throw to get back in it. And Flacco likes the tight end. And
he had 8 targets last week.
Yeah, he was throwing the ball over there this past week. So I think he only had 5. He had 5 targets this week. But I think they're going to be behind, and I think they're going to be forced into passing. And I thought Sutton looked good. I thought Sanders looked good. But I like Noah Fant too.
Yeah, I mean he looked sloppy out there. A drop ball and some penalties.
He's going to do that.
That's rookie stuff. But
he did that crap in the preseason.
Yeah, but he is a dynamic weapon, so why not take a shot? I like that better than mine. Mr. Cowboy Jason Witten.
You can't call him Mr. Cowboy. Sir.
He is the Mr. Cowboy right now. There's always a guy, and when he's done, it's going to be Jalen Smith.
Ooh.
Yeah, you don't think so?
I don't know. Dak Prescott to me is gonna either get knighted or sainthood or something like that.
I like that team friendly deal that Jalen signed.
You're about to see another one from Dak.
No, we're not.
Yes, you are.
What? 20 mil?
No.
15?
No. Come on, man.
No, definitely not.
Probably 30.
That would be great.
Yeah.
So
I would take
anyway,
a team-friendly deal for Lake Belton, $30 million a year.
for me. Yeah,
Right now.
I would stay there the
Right
rest
now.
of my career. So Jason Witten at Washington. There's so many weapons in Dallas. I really feel like this future Hall of Famer gets forgotten about in critical game situations, which is silly. But he's going to leak out there for open looks like he did in that touchdown.
He did, but did you watch the sideline sounds from the sideline on the Cowboys website? He was on the sideline, and they had called the play, and he goes, "Do you want me to go in?" And they go, "Do you want to?" And he's like, "I don't know. Do you care?" He's like, "All right, cool." And so it was totally like, "Here, go get you a touchdown real quick." It was totally that was a welcome back to the. We want the crowd to get excited. So go ahead and go get this touchdown real quick. Blake's already got one. Go ahead and get you one.
And I do have concerns because Blake Jarwin looks legitimate.
He's looking good, man. I like it. Of course, I mean, when you see Jason Witten run around, Blake Jarwin looks like he runs a 4.3.
But, I mean, y'all have to, there's 8 guys that are off limits, and then we're naming 5, so we're going 13, 14, 15.
Yeah, we're going down to 20.
It's pretty hard to...
Noah Fant was like below 20. So, all right. So our next segment is called Skin It. And this is one of those deals where you got to jerk that pistol and go to work, man. You just got to skin that smoke wagon, man. And you're trying to take somebody that is just an outlier, man. Somebody you just hope is going to work out. So my guy is a dude that the Cowboys have always struggled with, and a dude that I think is going to have an increased role this week, and a guy that I really feel like could have been like a stud running back if he hadn't gotten hurt so much. I think he's too slight. To me, kind of reminds me of a rich man's Lance Dunbar. And that's Chris Thompson of the Washington Redskins versus against the Cowboys this week. 10 targets last week, and the Cowboys' pass defense was not what I wanted it to be, especially the linebackers and underneath stuff. So to me, Chris Thompson, if you were desperate and you had a flex position and you didn't have anybody, go pick up Chris Thompson. I bet you he's on the wire.
That's a good one.
And so yeah, go take him. And I guarantee you, you're going to get 5 to 8 receptions. Which, if you have PPR or half point PPR, boom, there you go. You got a guy that's at least serviceable that you can put in.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a really good one. I like that a lot. I went Mecole Hardman, and when I wrote this, I did a lot of reading on him, and it's like when I put this on the Google Doc, I don't think that it had quite fully exploded yet, but man, everywhere now. So this doesn't feel like a skin it to me, but he did have one target in week 1. Is Jalen Ramsey? That's not even the right matchup. But I think that you could put Mecole Hardman out there, and I know everybody's excited about him, but are you really even putting him? Are you really even putting him out there? I think you can. I think you could flex him, and he could, really blow up with that speed. Yeah. So, anyways, I would put him out there. The other guy I was thinking about that could be a really big play that, again, everybody's kind of into right now, but, are you really starting him? I think James Washington could be huge this week. So,
cool.
Those are 2 guys I think you could take a chance on. And I don't mean a chance on your roster spot or on your roster, on your bench. I mean, I think you guys could put these guys in your starting lineup.
Isn't it funny that they went and drafted that dude to kind of be their Tyreek replacement, expecting Tyreek to get suspended?
Yeah.
Then he doesn't get suspended, and everybody's like, forget old Mecole Hardman. And then what happens? He gets hurt.
Yeah, and he gets hurt for about the time period that he should have been suspended for. It's like karma, man. That makes me think it's all true. You know what I mean? Really. I know that's crazy, but
I'll take it because that piece of crap deserved to get suspended after all. I mean, all the evidence they have against him.
For reals.
Our next segment is called "You're a Daisy If You Do." That means don't start this dude if you. And this is we usually try to take somebody that you would typically start, and so it's kind of a risk. Mine last week blew up in my face, but that's okay. So this week, you're a Daisy if you do. Who you got?
I don't think you can put any Bronco in against the Bears.
Woo!
I don't think any single Bronco can. I don't think you can start any of them. And
Joe Flacco.
Of course not. But I'm pretty excited about Cortland Sutton. He looked really, really good.
He really did.
And I liked the targets that he got and what he did with them. So I mean, I'm kind of all in, but I wouldn't start him. I'm benching him in the LFC. So. And again, this is the receiver I'm most excited about right now. So I wouldn't start him. I'm actually I lost Hunter Henry, so like I have Noah Fant starting against him, but I'm not expecting much, man. That Bears defense looks completely
they're
lights
nasty.
out. Yeah, man,
They're
they
nasty.
look really, really
They
good.
picked up some good DBs too in the offseason. I'm taking a guy that some people had in the top 10 this year. That's Stephon Diggs at Green Bay. Green Bay looked awesome on defense. It got lost in the shuffle in the Chicago game because Chicago's defense played great, but so did Green Bay's. Green Bay.
So you're benching Stephon Diggs?
I'm benching Stephon Diggs, man.
I wouldn't.
And they played well. Well, that's what you got to do on this one. You got to kind of take a risk. So they had extra rest. They played last Thursday. So yeah, I would say leave him out. I don't think the Minnesota offense is going to be super explosive this year, like Cook. But I'm not a huge fan of everything else they got going on. The next one is, if you remember, they were leaving Tombstone. So, smells like somebody died. It's like, it's over. We're out. And he goes, well, bye. Ooh. And so
the timing of this,
our segment here is well, bye. And that would be somebody that you can kind of go, you know what? I think your days as a fantasy player are pretty much over. So
Jameis Winston really just threw what should have been a pick just now. He is my bye. In a one quarterback league, get this guy out. You can cut him, take a shot on someone else at quarterback. He just doesn't seem to have it upstairs to be a successful pro.
It's unfortunate too because this is the contract year for him. So if he wants to do that, he could. This would be the year to do it if he wants to get that big $30 million deal.
But like Kuechly just dropped a ball in both hands pick. This guy, he just doesn't make good decisions on or off the field. More concerning to what we're talking about on the field. That was just a straight drop, both hands on it. He's wearing the sticky gloves and everything. He still dropped it.
I took Eli Manning because I think Daniel Jones is. Sooner rather than later, he's going to be on the field and playing, and Eli Manning is going out to pasture. So, to me, Eli Manning, God bless you. You got lucky getting 2 Super Bowls. So you are, to me, you're well. Bye.
Yeah, I'm ready for him to go.
Our next segment is I'm gonna bake you a cake, man. That's somebody that they did something completely unexpected. And we said, man, I'm going to have to bake you a cake, man. That's all right, man. So who do you baking a cake for?
I am proud of that Cowboy killer, Deshaun Jackson.
Oof.
I'm proud of him, man. What a big week. And, he's still just a bomb waiting to happen. And, that connection that he has with Wentz, that chemistry.
He's really lost a step. He's probably down to about a 4.28, 4.31 or something like that.
He's still, he's got wheels. And the chemistry, I'm just surprised how well they connect. So I think
it took 15 minutes.
I think he could be good all year.
Well, Ken's hoping so. He spent $100 on him, so he has no money left. Man, I'll tell you who I picked. There was a dude that rookie drafted John Ross in the LFC and dropped him year 1, and I just scooped him up, and I'm like, I don't know. If you understand how this works,
you didn't rookie
I didn't rookie draft him.
Oh, I thought you did.
Somebody drafted him in the first or second round and then dropped him. The guy that had your team, the one that you picked up, and I just stuffed him on my bench and never played him, and was like, you know what? He was a first round pick.
Yeah,
he runs a 3.8 and a 40. So
I'll put talent on my bench.
At some point, maybe he figures it out.
Sure.
And I don't know if you know that, but there's a boy genius coaching the Bengals now. He had lunch with Sean McVay once. They had tacos. And so John Ross is my cake, man. I don't know if this week means all of a sudden John Ross is going to start being a fantasy player or not, but
keep your eye
I think maybe the number change did it. He went from 15 to 1. And if you think about it, 15 was the number for Chris Henry, who died in that truck accident when he got thrown out of that truck by his ex-wife. So that might be the ticket. 11 might be the number. Okay, so can he repeat this? Who knows? Are we going to find out? Sure. But I'm baking him a cake for last week. How about that? So, all right, what do we got here for our next segment? We got really, man, really. I think this in my head all day at work when the kids say stuff.
Kids say a lot of stuff.
Kids say lots of weird stuff when they're in the 8th grade, man. And so I try to like not change my face, but then in my head think, really, you're really going with that. So, what made you say really this week?
Yeah, week 1, the opening game of the 2019 season, the 100th season of the NFL, was just a complete snooze. Yeah, it was a preseason game. I mean, because like none of those guys.
Fortunately, we got a stellar one here on
it's actually
Thursday
getting better.
night.
Yeah, it's actually getting better with this one. But man, that was just a terrible game. I mean, and I was so like amped up for NFL football and fantasy to start, and I had Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones,
man.
and I was like, "This is gonna be awesome." And I knew the matchup was bad, but like, it was just terrible. And like I said, it just looked and felt like a preseason game that the starters played the whole time.
Oh yeah, it was a huge
terrible.
snoozer. Man, my really was my boy from the University of Texas, Malcolm Brown, killing my redraft league by taking away Todd Gurley's touchdowns. I couldn't believe he would do such a thing. He acted like he didn't even know that my team needed Todd Gurley.
Yeah, he should put his needs aside for yours.
Come on, man. I mean, that is just selfish.
Your take on Malcolm Brown, rest of the season, the way they use him, I don't mean his
Didn't you
final
think
stats.
it was going to be Henderson?
Yes.
I did too. Yes. I thought it was going to be Henderson. I mean, I had no idea that Malcolm Brown was even going to make the team. You know, they had John Kelly. They had some rookie, some guys they drafted.
He's the guy, man.
And I'm just like, what the heck? Where? And I saw the running back for the Rams break into the open and go into, they were near the goal line, but he broke into the open to go score. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's not 30. That's not 34.
So is that his role the rest of the year? I mean, because
to me, the Rams are kind of like the Chiefs. You just want somebody that's on that offense. You want somebody on that offense. Right. You just do.
And he clearly has some touchdown potential.
I picked him up even though I have Henderson.
Yeah.
So that ought to tell you something. Our next segment is the Cowboy Minute, since we don't have a Dolphin Minute.
Thank goodness. Nobody wants to hear about that.
Good Lord. I want to hear what Jay has to say.
How can you spin this, Jay?
Jay, what would you like to say about your Dolphins this week?
First overall, 2020 draft. That's all I care about.
I look over and I see Jay hang in there. Jay, are you okay? What's going on?
You're like with Jay. It's like we should already talk about so who do you want the Dolphins to take first overall? We're several months ahead.
Tank for Tua. Yeah. Well, my Cowboy Minute is about Kellen Moore. So everybody is singing this dude's praises for the new offense, and we're going to score 40 a week, and we're going to get 400 yards passing every week. And welcome to the new Cowboy offense with 11 personnel and play action pass and back running and all of this wonderful things. But here's my problem with it. This dude was on the staff last year.
He wasn't in charge, though.
I understand that, but he had these ideas. Was nobody listening?
Yeah.
So it was Scott Linehan going,
They're there, young man.
You'll learn to be like me one day.
Yeah.
I just
give 21 the ball on first down every single drive.
Right.
Every single.
It just bothers me. Like when they hired him, I was like, I was okay with it, but
I thought they were just giving someone they like a job.
Me too. I was like, how can the answer be on this staff?
Yeah,
how is that possible? And so to me, I'm just very confused by it all. And then my other thing on the Cowboys was when Quinn comes back, what happens here? Because
it's a good thing.
Is it possible that we cut a first-round draft pick to put Quinn, who's a 1-year player, on the team?
Trade Taco.
Okay, what do you think they could get for Taco?
Like a 5th-round pick or something
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Possibly. Maybe.
Or what if they put a good a 2nd-round pick with him? Do we have our 2nd-round pick next year?
Yeah.
So what if Taco and the 2nd-round pick
for a first?
For something. A first for a good player, because 2nd-round pick's valuable.
Hopefully, it'll be the 64th pick. What do you think?
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take that.
There's a lot of good teams.
Yeah. Well, anyways.
Yeah,
So
I don't know. I'll buy the Kellen Moore thing. It's not going to be this week or next week, like against Washington or Miami.
are you going to take all Cowboy players next week?
Yes. All Cowboy players against Miami. In your Survivor leagues, just pick against Miami. But yeah, I mean, week 4 is New Orleans, right?
Yeah, something
So
like that.
I mean, that's
look. I'm just
that's
trying
a
to win
Super
this
Bowl
week. We're trying to have a
contending
good practice on Thursday. Okay.
Sure. I just mean like if Kellen Moore looks like that against the Saints, or looks dramatically different from what we've seen in the past, then I'll buy it. But I'm not really going to buy it.
Okay.
After week 1.
All right. Well, here's the deal. I introduce the first one. You introduce the second one. I introduce the third one. So we rotate going first on this. This is our pick 6. This is me versus Dolotina. Dak, 300 plus passing yards. You saying yes or no?
Over.
Taking yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you documenting this?
I have it on video. I have it on audio.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I would say agree. Over 300 this week.
Lamar Jackson 2 plus passing touchdowns more.
Okay. So I'm gonna say.
Are you gonna be contrarian?
Not on this one. I'm gonna go yes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
Okay.
definitely. Okay, at least.
I already knew what you were gonna say. I wasn't even gonna ask you because I already knew.
Definitely.
All right. So Austin Eckler, 20 plus touches. I think he had 18 last week. 20 plus touches.
I think the total touches.
Total touches.
I think it definitely more because they don't have Hunter Henry and Mike Williams. Like I feel like he's the legitimate first or second option. I mean, Keenan Allen should be the first option, but like he's not going. Keenan Allen's not going to get 20 touches. All I mean is that like I think that the offense is going to run through Eckler.
I'm going to go contrarian on this one. That way I can try to win. So I'm going to say less. I'm saying he's going to get less than 20 touches.
All right, Josh Jacobs, 100 plus yards from scrimmage.
Okay, 100 plus yards from scrimmage. Josh Jacobs. I took him on the pick, so I'm taking him right here. Give me the 100 yards.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under 100 yards.
Under 100,
but not by a lot. I just
yeah.
I mean, he's gonna have a good game. I would absolutely
92.
Sure, 97 total yards.
All right. My favorite player in the league, Sammy Watkins, 100 plus yards receiving this week.
Under. Yeah,
Under
100 yards.
Okay, I'll take over just to be contrarian. I don't like him.
Yeah.
I don't like it, but I'm taking over.
They got enough options, and he'll Mahomes will pass it to whoever. I don't think he's tied to anybody. All right, DJ Chark, 1 touchdown.
I'm gonna take under. I think Gardner Minshew threw like 1 incompletion or something last week. I don't think that's happening this week.
They've got Houston. Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna go over on this one. Like he'll catch a touchdown.
You think he's gonna catch a touchdown?
I think he's gonna catch a touchdown.
Okay. All right.
Somebody's gonna catch touchdowns against Houston.
Somebody will. Hopefully, hopefully for you it'll be DJ Chark. Well, there it is, America. If you don't win, it ain't our fault, man. We did the best we could.
Dude, as much as I hyped Baltimore, they better perform for me.
Oh man, he's never gonna hear the end of that.
I'm not gonna be invited back.
All right, man. Be sure to tune into all our future podcasts at Fantasy One Game Time on SoundCloud and YouTube, and Fantasy Game Time on Facebook. And if you stop by for just a couple of minutes, we appreciate it. We want to thank every single person that spent a few minutes listening to us. We know that you could be doing anything else, so we appreciate you stopping by. So speaking on behalf of my good friend Jordan Dolotina, this is Russell Maven, leaving you with the same truth as always. We love football. We just love Jesus more.
That's right.
Y'all have a great week.